Go ahead. Got you.
All right. So let's hit a few submissions from side control. This week, what we are going to go over is going to be the basics on the Americana. We'll go over north-south choke, and then we'll go over the north-south choke with the hand in. So the first thing that we are going to do, let's go over the basic finishing mechanics. So traditionally, whenever it comes to us hitting the Americana, and I'm going to show the general finishing mechanics first, and then at the very end we will go through the general setups though. A lot of the problems whenever it comes to like this move though, the closer that his elbow is to being able to touch his body, then the more he can actually get out. Just the end, because now go ahead and actually start rotating on like this shoulder, going up. Yeah, exactly. And that in general is then what happens. So whenever we are setting this up, like for instance, JT here, he has a flexible shoulder. So if I'm say just here, and I don't have the elbow connected to his neckline, okay, and I just have the arm out, if I'm actually rotating, for instance, me, I would actually be feeling this now. He is not though. He has space now to turn and look at me. Go ahead and turn and look at me, and now just walk your hips in. Go ahead. And now his elbow gets close to like his body. Now straighten your arm out. Go ahead. Exactly, and then he'll be actually getting out. So before I get the elbow here, I don't want to try to lock my hands up right here. If a person's a big guy, big girl, and they have tight shoulders, this is fine. For the people that are more flexible though, they can actually start bridging up, like bridge up now. Walk your hips in, exactly, and then he will then start connecting his elbows. They can start rolling over, to where this becomes more of a power move. So what I want to do instead, keep my hand underneath his head, take his elbow outside of the line of his shoulder. So his shoulder makes a line right here. The elbow, I don't want to be in front here. I want to get the elbow here first, and then bring the hand in. Whenever this actually happens, his shoulder's tighter now. He actually feels this. My hand goes underneath, and now if you look right here at the hand positioning here, I put my knuckles directly on the wrist, and then I turn. Now this makes a tight vice here. Now we grab a hold here. Now, as I rev, and then I'm putting my pinky on the floor, so I'm putting this pinky right now on the floor with this rev, and I lean forward. As my elbow stays on the mat, and then I'm drawing this out. Now this is tight, and now he will wind up tapping. Some people as well, even from here, from just right here, and if I just turn that way, I can actually make a person tap. It looks like it shouldn't actually work, but what we happen to be doing, and you can actually test this out, just like whenever we are within a gym, whenever we're actually bench pressing, I'm bench pressing here, your shoulders, your pecs, etc., they're not necessarily engaged here. If you try to bench and then you actually put your arms up this way though, automatically you feel the engagement right here within your shoulder and like a little bit within the pec line. So whenever I'm going to actually attack this position here, remember the Americana attacks both your shoulder and your elbow joint too. Depending on what your size is, you'll feel it in your shoulder first, or you'll feel it within your elbow first. Typically, if you're like over 170 pounds, you'll feel it in the shoulder first. If you're under 170, you'll typically feel it within your elbow first. Again, there will be a slight bit of variance based on like your own body morphology. So again, when you're setting this up, I don't like trying to set it up right here as much anymore, because even on my turn right here, and you can look at JT's face, it's not really actually doing much right here. But again, he has more flexible shoulders. If I start though, and I have the elbow past his shoulder, again, his shoulder makes a line here. Now it's in front, and I'm pulling the hand in. Now watch his face here. When my hand comes in right here, you see how me just turning the hand right here, it is already actually cranking down. And I can actually finish right here. It looks like this should not actually work, but definitely try this one out. So that's on the Americana there. So the second move here, popularized by Marcelo Garcia. North-South choke. Used to have a bunch of problems actually with this. My buddy John Tava actually fixed this, and I kind of figured a few things out too. So let's just start off with the finishing mechanics, and again, I will go over setups though. So whenever we go, I want to have it to where my ribs are going to be right here. I don't want him facing me at all, and I want to have my arm all the way over his neck here. But I don't want to go elbow deep yet. I really want to go about right here. Okay, so you should be able to see a gap between his ear right here. Okay, put your forearm down. Now from here, my ribs are then actually pushing him away, and then I'm walking back. We hand finding where his wrist is. I punch that down, and we keep coming right down now here. So camera making it right here. So this is like the area that used to screw me up a lot. A lot of north-south chokes are like half neck cranks, and again, if it's a tournament, if you actually get there, it is what it is. But we really want a perfect choke. So I really want to drop my shoulder basically within his neckline. I do that by scooting myself out at about a 45-degree angle here. So I really want to get the hip bones down and then scoot myself down. The hand right here goes palm down now. This hand right here goes palm up, and I literally fishtail underneath just to grab a hold. Now, if I bring the elbows in and squeeze, the problem is I can make something actually work, but again, I'm more cranking them now. What I want to do is I really want to pull this elbow that way, and as I'm pulling the elbow this way, I breathe in big, and I push my shoulder down. We just hold. And then that gives me a tighter choke then. And he feels the difference right now between it becoming a crank versus it becoming a choke then. So if he just stays right there. Once we come right here, I want to go palm down. This hand comes right here. I don't want the elbow to come here, because the elbow keeps my weight up. So what happens is people will be here and then they'll crank hard, but the elbow's actually within the way, and the elbow stopping my shoulder from going forward. I want the elbow to go back out. So as I'm pulling it out this way, you see how it then actually pushes my shoulder forward. So if I get him back in here again, when we're here, again, I'm pushing myself back. I want to get my hips as flat to the ground as possible. The palm goes down. We grab a hold right here, and now I'm pulling my right elbow out. That pulls me in more secure onto his neckline. I bring them big, and I just let my shoulder go forward, and we just hold here. So I'm not really squeezing hard. There is no tight vice squeeze here. You don't actually have to do that. Next one though, an issue that happens when people get their arm in, and then we're trying to actually get the guillotine choke, you're trying to get the north-south choke here. So on the initial one, we're gonna go palm to palm this way. The elbow goes out, and see how I'm pulling myself in, and then that pulls my shoulder into alignment with his neckline. Well, the problem here is though, we have the shoulder within the way. So what do we actually do? When we're here, instead of us going palm to palm, we're gonna go with a lace grip. So the arm that's around his neck again, right here, is then still gonna go palm down, but I don't wanna go here. Because if I go here, I typically then I'm pushing my shoulder then into his chest line. It doesn't work out quite as well. So what I want to do is keep my head down, still scoot back, but get a lace grip. Now, once you get this lace grip, I want my cameraman to get over here, and I'm going to raise my head up just to actually tall here. But I'm pulling my left elbow into my hip, but then I'm walking my left hip to the elbow too. And that's it. And he felt that there was no squeeze. I kind of think that this is actually the tighter choke now.
Yeah.
It feels like it shouldn't be a tight choke because you're actually having this lace grip, This is actually a really strong grip. So if you ever go north-south and the hand actually gets in there, don't bother with this grip. You can, but you really activate more of your biceps and your pec line too. And if you make it work, it's going to be a half cranking again. If it's a tournament situation, whatever. But to really get a perfect choke though, you don't want to actually crank, and more importantly, you don't want to use a lot of muscle, because especially if you have multiple matches, etc. Now I have more muscle fatigue now. I really want angles and technique. So again, and I'll do it on this side here, so you can just stay here. The arm goes over. I still want to go palm down, but I'm not pulling my arm through. Just get enough right here, and we're gonna be here. Now again, palm down. This one right here is gonna be palm up. Once you get this lace, I'm pulling my lace through. That tightens up the noose now. Now, we just walk our hips into him, and we just hold. Again, he felt that. There was no squeezing by me. You didn't really see me actually tense up there. It's more about body positioning here. So again, that's how you do the arm in north-south, the regular north-south plus the Americana. So now let's go over a few setups though. So the first setup is going to be for the Americana. So go ahead and actually just kind of have yourself in the traditional defense. Most guys will play it this way. What you don't want to do, I don't want to ever actually raise up trying to actually push, because if he actually tenses up, number one, it's hard, but then two, I'm giving him space. Just go ahead and get your knee in, etc. Exactly. So I know that'll be something that actually happens. So we're here. I want to get the crook of my arm just underneath the tip of his elbow here, and then I want to raise my fingers up in this spider walk out, and I want my head to follow and come up right here. The hand actually goes down. If you look right now, if I take myself out, his elbow now is in line with his shoulder. Okay, this is good, but I still don't want to attack yet. So we're here. This hand right here, I'm going to curl and chop it up into his carotid artery right here. If I get his arm up enough, we go in and then we grab a hold of his armpit. If not, I'll walk my butt towards his head and watch what happens with the arm. It snakes in. And now if you look, the elbow is in front of the line of the shoulder. Now we grab a hold here. Now I walk right back. So from here, I could even do stuff like baseball bat chokes. If you want that, just ask me later on for it. But now, it's harder for him to be able to actually get out. This hand is free, so I trap it right now. And now I pass this hand to the hand that's underneath his head. And again, his shoulder's tight now. His elbow then is in front of his shoulder line too. This is not comfortable here. I don't care how flexible you are, this is not comfortable. And his shoulders are pretty flexible here. My hand now goes palm up. It goes all the way underneath. And I literally do not flip until your knuckles actually go on top of your wrist line. Because again, look at his face here. If I flip early, his face is on. If I go to right here, and now we start twisting, I actually feel then within his shoulder the power of the movement. Now we grab a hold over. Now, if you look, the index finger is still up here, right? Walk your hand down just a little bit, rev, and I really want the knuckle of the index finger to touch the ground here. You can make most people tap out. If they're a little bit more stubborn though, I'm gonna push myself forward so I will drive off the toes, and watch how I'm bringing the right elbow out, and then the left elbow circles, and I keep the contact with the ground the whole time right here. Now we come in right here. Now we can go more traditional. So that's my favorite setup right now. And again, it's really tight on the shoulder. So yeah, that's why I want you though. Because if I use some of the other guys, they have tighter shoulders. People normally actually tap out before I even actually put the arm over. So it's not a brute force move like some people actually think. You just have to get the right angle though. So now north-south Joe though. There are a variety of ways to actually get here. I'm just gonna go over like the one that I learned from John though. So we're here, and what I really have to worry about is clearing this hand right here. Okay, so let me just kind of move right here for the camera in here. So you can always clear a variety of ways though. So one of my favorite ways is just a simple sit out. Where we'll sit out right here, we go one. Now watch how my leg now drops down. We come up two. So I have his arm now. This then lets me then come up and then make a C-clamp grip, and then go right over. Once I go over, we can window wiper, and then we can start immediately attacking. That's one way. Second way though, from here, actually no, I'll say that one for the other one though, but from here, we'll be here. I'm gonna rise up, my knee comes in, and we go down that way. Okay? So again, watch the hip switch here. He's gonna normally be pushing in on the hip line. Well, what he's doing, what he's doing is though he's leaving me this gap. So from here, I'll put myself a little bit more over his elbow. The knee comes in this way. Now, I like to replace the knees here. And again, I still get basically this general pin here with the knee, and then that lets me then just go over. And I'm already within. And again, you sag back as much as possible, pulling your elbow, and whenever you pull this elbow, what you feel is that you actually then make up the slat that was on this side. So we pull it, breathe in big, and you just drop your shoulder now, and then just hold it. That's it. Whenever it comes into the isolation for this one here, this is my favorite one. So when we're here, all I'm gonna do, I'm gonna hip switch this side. So I'll walk back. So watch how right knee, it goes right towards his butt cheek. My left knee comes all the way through. Back step, and then scoot. As I scoot, come here. Now my hand then actually comes to like his hip line. Keep going. We're already here. And now we find our lace grip. The elbows actually just go down. We just walk in. That's it, no squeeze. So again, on that one, here, and again, especially if he's really pushing in on like the hip line with his forearm here, this can be super, super, super annoying. So we pull ourselves in, we widen the base out. Right knee then goes towards his butt cheek. I lift my knees off the ground. We touch them, back step. From here, you can actually switch your hands at this point. Depends on how safe you feel. Make sure that this kickstand's up, because if he tries to bridge it on, do a bridge, this foot actually stops me from getting pushed over. If this foot's down, bridge go, he'll start pushing me over then. Now he's on top of me, now I'm having to play half guard or something else. So instead, again, once we come here, kickstand. As you kickstand, pull his shoulder, and then my hand comes over his head. Right here. Now if you look where the position of his arm is right here. So now I could, in theory, just actually hop over like this hand. So you could just kind of do something like this. And we could hop over to a regular dorsal choke too. But yeah, I like this one more though. So we're here, the hand's there. We take this hand and then we go right by his hip line. And this foot circles. So your base foot circles back. This foot right here drives. So you see how this lets me then push his arm then into his carotid artery. If you look at my left hand right now, I'm basically pushing it to where my left hand, it should go towards my back pocket here. So we circle, push, circle, push. We're here. Now this hand right here goes palm down. As we go flat. You lace, you walk in, and I just hold. And again, whenever it comes to these north-south chokes, though, that's the biggest thing. If you get the right angle, you don't have to squeeze hard. If you're squeezing hard, you're actually doing something else. Again, if it's a tournament, you got 5-7 seconds left. You do whatever the heck you actually have to do, of course. But if you get the right body positioning, though, there's no need to really do maybe partially like a small squeeze. Like the same amount of squeeze you would probably get if you're holding a basketball. So literally like barely any type of squeeze. Like you could actually ask him now. I wasn't really squeezing hard there. It's not like if I get like a rear naked choke and then I really do the whole rotational finish there. Instead, it's just getting the angles and then breathing in big and then just kind of settling right down and then just holding. If you count 5, normally people are tapping by about 2 though. All right, so good job, people. Hope you actually have fun. If you got any other questions, just let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you guys Wednesday. Peace out.
Did you feel my body crack like